everyone. Today I'm here with Katie with the Decluttering Queen. She is going to give us all sorts of awesome organizational tips. I'm super excited. I love to be organized. I can always use more help with this. So thank you so much for being here today, Katie.
I'm super excited to share with you some tips, but not only that, to get some ideas from you as far as the market right now too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, great.
Let's get started.
Cool.
So I have a couple questions I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
You know, you're very well known in the area. You have over a decade of experience. People are probably wondering, what's the market like right now for a seller?
Sure. Good question. So it's changing a little bit. We're going, I think, into a little bit more of a balanced market. It's still a great time to sell your home. It's a great time to have somebody like you come in and really help to make sure that your home is 100% ready to go. It's going to become more and more important. We still have a shortage of housing inventory. We still have a ton of buyers out there, but interest rates have risen a little bit. They're just more to a normal point now. They're just not at the super low we were seeing for the last couple of years going through the pandemic. So we just have to make sure that everything is on point. We have to make sure that our pricing is accurate right off the bat, and we're still able to get people top dollar for their home. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, my team and I have sold several houses, above asking price with multiple offers. So it's still definitely happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's another question people have a lot
Sure.
of times. And I don't think you get a clear answer if you just Google it online.
Mm-hmm.
To stage or not to stage?
Mm-hmm.
And not only should we stage, but how expensive is it?
Sure. That's a really good question. And every realtor handles it a little bit differently. And every realtor, I think, feels a little differently about it. I like to stage. I feel that vacant homes just don't show or sell as well. There's reports from the National Association of Realtors that'll say the same thing. Houses on average sell about 18% lower.
Wow.
Without staging. So whether that's your own furniture and you're just making sure that everything is clean and decluttered and looks great, or if the home is vacant, we do come in. We've got a professional stager that comes in and puts everything together. And we put it right in with our fees. So we don't charge extra for that. But again, every realtor does it a little bit differently.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, as an organizer, I'm very curious about this next question.
Sure.
And maybe you can't put like a dollar amount with it, but how important is it to have your home look organized, decluttered, not filled with a bunch of stuff?
Yes. I think it's one of the most important things. Price will always be number one. Everything will sell for the right price. But that being said, we can get you that top dollar when your home actually looks like it should look. So I always am telling sellers, buyers don't want to see your stuff. They don't want to see your mail. They don't want to see what's on your calendar. They don't want to see the magnets on the fridge. It's all cute. We all live in our houses.
Yes.
But now we've got to elevate it to kind of that museum level. That's what I always tell sellers. It's like, tell your kids, tell everybody we're not breathing for a little while here. We're just gonna, we're gonna eat, we're gonna clean up, and that's it. Because you really do. You have to have everything really, truly tied together. They do want to see, here's where I can put my couch. Here's where I can put my TV. Here's where my bed goes. Those kinds of things. So that's where the staging piece comes in. Or again, at least just having, your furniture there and looking great. But no stacks of mail, no stacks of paperwork. If you have a home office, that has to be completely cleaned up. Plus, you don't want all those personal items out anyways.
Okay. Now, I have a couple things to share. Do you mind if I share with you my top tip?
Please do. We love tips.
When preparing, people always ask me, when preparing a big space, like a closet, maybe you have a huge basement, maybe you have a garage. How do I manage that? Because there's just stuff that's going to be stuff, right? Do you ever get that question from people?
Yes, a lot.
Okay.
A lot. So my biggest tip is buyers are much more forgiving about basements and garages. They understand, again, that, especially, again, if you're still living in the home, and it's very easy to tell if somebody's living there or not, they understand that you can't just hide everything and throw everything away and start fresh, right? So basements The biggest thing I would say is just have everything organized. If you don't have a bunch of totes, get them. Put everything together. You might as well do it now anyways, because you're going to be moving, and it's going to be a lot easier once you get to your next place to not have to do it all then, right? So take a day or two and sort through everything, get it organized, get it in containers, get it away from the mechanicals too, from your water heater, your furnace. Oftentimes we see, we go down in somebody's basement and it's like you can't even get to those things. And that's important to buyers because they want to look at the condition of those things, right? Those can be big dollar items. So as long as it's organized, maybe off against a wall, that kind of thing in the basement. Same thing with the garage. People don't expect your garage to look like your kitchen, pristine, but they do want to see the space. And the more that you can show them that you're not busting at the seams, the more they're going to think, wow, this place has a lot of space for us. So we want people to be envisioning it as now them living there.
And I always say in basements, you got to utilize those shelves. If you have shelving units, utilize them.
Yes.
You need to put like things together, like items together where it makes sense, where you don't have, boots over here and the coats over here. Put them together so it makes sense together. And then I always tell people to utilize your vertical space, because if you have less stuff off the floor and more hanging up, it's going to look like you have more room. Right?
I totally agree. Yeah,
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yep.
Another question I get, what is the best way to tackle a large project? So I'd love to share with you my tips on how to tackle those large projects.
Please do, because I've got a few.
Okay. It is so overwhelming. You're like, I don't even know where to start.
Yes.
But
and that's why it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
No.
It takes project planning. Now, my guess is you're pretty good at project planning. It's just when you see the space, you don't know where to start.
Yes.
So step one is to always start with coming up with a goal, whatever your goal may be.
Sure.
Your second step is to clear everything from the space. So if you're moving out, now's a great time to kind of move everything around and look at it all. And then you're going to decide whether it's going to stay or go. Are you going to donate it, sell it, or are you going to keep it? I think you'd agree. Do not move things to the next house. Just get rid of it if you're going to.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. After you do that, you're going to make sure you buy your storage solutions. People will buy totes before they actually organize. So you want to go through everything first, and that'll determine which type of storage solutions you need, but also how many totes you might need or how many boxes, because you probably have no clue right now.
Right.
And if you get rid of stuff, you need less, right?
Right.
And then lastly, you want to put everything back.
Sure.
So that's how you start a project. You might even need to write it down and hold yourself accountable. And people say, well, I don't have like a whole weekend to do this. You don't need a whole weekend. You can actually do just one corner of the basement, one section at a time. The goal is, the key is to start early. If you're thinking about selling, why not get organized before you even list it, right?
Right. And that's so true, because I meet so many people that have found a house that they love and they want to write an offer on it.
Yep.
And then it's like, but we need to sell our house. And I get it all the time. But we're not ready to sell our house. And then it's panic time, right? So I totally agree. If you're even thinking about selling, why not start getting organized now? And like you said, break it up into chunks. Do one part of the project, and then the next day, do a little bit more until it's done. Because once that new home comes on the market that you love, it's not going to wait.
No.
It's not going to wait. So.
Well, and I love to creating storage solutions for people that's inexpensive. You don't need a lot of money to make it happen.
Sure.
Diaper boxes. You can store things in diaper boxes. You can store things in Amazon boxes. We all have Amazon boxes.
Right.
The totes. I even saw so many great organizers over at Target dollar bins. And I love Target dollar bins. They were so cute, so inexpensive. So many great solutions that don't cost a lot of money too.
Sure. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I have one more tip to share. It's
Okay.
kind of a new thing.
Okay.
It's a QR code when you're moving.
Oh, I love that.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. So basically, if you ever scan a QR code for a menu or maybe tickets to a concert, it's a unique code that you put on a box, and then you put on an app what's inside the box.
That's cool.
So you could put it on a cardboard box, whatever you stuff in the box, and then when you move and you get to your new house, your new forever home, You just scan it and
That's
it
so
tells you
great.
everything that's
So you're
in
not
it.
playing guessing games.
No.
I love that.
And you know, like, do I need it right away or can I wait like the 6 months? Now,
Right.
if you're waiting the 6 months, do you really need it?
Toss it. That's my rule.
You don't really
If we
need
haven't touched it, we have a room in our basement, and I tell my husband all the time, that's not the room where everything goes to die.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people have that room, right? Where it's
Yep.
like, ooh, I just want to hold on to it because what if? But truly, if you haven't touched it in that long, probably better
Yep.
for it to go. Utilize the space in your house. Live in it. Don't have it just as storage space for things that you're never going to touch.
Yeah. So the QR codes
love
are great.
that.
You can
That is so great.
You can take pictures of it. You can
Yeah.
have pictures on the app. I use Elephant Tracks. They're most affordable and they have a really good app. They're only $7.99 for 40 of them.
And where
So,
did you get those?
Where do you think?
Amazon?
Amazon.
Of course.
Of course. So I've been finding them super helpful. I've been using them with clients too.
Sure.
So yeah, I would share that with anyone that's
I
looking to
love
move.
that. I think
Yeah.
that's so nice and so easy. I even have boxes that'll be like used from a previous move, and then I'm moving them again, or I'm moving again, so then I'll like cross out kitchen because now it's living, and it just gets messy. It gets really messy. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
So Kelly,
Yes.
if people are ready to sell or they're just curious what their house might be worth,
Sure.
what's the best way to reach out to you?
Perfect. And by the way, I do market analysis for free, no pressure all the time. So thank you for mentioning that as well, because I can just come in and kind of start giving people those tips too about organizing and those kinds of things. You know, maybe even incorporate you in. It'd be great. Best ways to reach me: our website, which is just kellydavieshomes.com. We have the Kelly Davies Homes team on Facebook. So really, any of those ways.
Awesome.
Yeah. And how about you? How do we find you, my dear?
Sure. So I do a lot of in-home organizing, but I also do a lot of online challenges, which are super fun. They help the average day person get motivated to declutter.
I need to do that.
You can find me at www.thedeclutteringqueen.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Just Google The Decluttering Queen and I'll pop up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was great.
This was a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.